Yep. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We don't have any guests today, but welcome to the public session for the Commission on Human Relations. I'm going to turn it on over to our chair, Commissioner Shalimar Thomas.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, and welcome to the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations public session taking place today, Friday, May 17th, 2024. Can we start the meeting with the approval of meeting minutes? Were there any corrections to note? All right, hearing none, I move that we accept the minutes and that they are submitted into the record. The next up on the agenda are the cases recommended for closings. I will ask for recusals after I read the cases. All right, the cases recommended for closings for May 2024 are as follows. Under employment, we have Sabine Glocker versus Child USA, Jacob J. Hurst versus Hink Design, Sean Dugan versus City of Philadelphia, Ismail Newman versus City of Philadelphia, Christy Draskovic versus Vision Works, Draskovic, Kurt Van Stuyvesant versus Williams Atley and Company DC LLP, Randy Rawls versus Thomas Jefferson University, Casimir Collazo versus Pediatric Specialty Care et al., Vanessa R. Wright versus City of Philadelphia Department of Human Services, DHS, Tina Barnett versus TD Bank, Nichelle S. Agdabite Maraventano versus City of Philadelphia, Latoya Sharper versus Foot Locker, Angela Palumbo versus Drexel University, John A. Detroit versus Global Government Services, a First Flagship Company. Under Ban the Box, we have Sasha Gonzalez versus Top Choice Home Care LLC. And under the Wholesales Do Not Solicit, we have Chris Clark and Home Vestors. Were there any recusals? All right. No, since no recusals have been noted, can I have a motion to accept the cases? I see it, motion made by Commissioner Alpert, and I see a second made by Commissioner Kareem Thomas. All in favor? All right, thank you. Cases for the month of May have been accepted. With that, I will turn the agenda back over to our Executive Director, Kia Gee.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. It appears that we do have at least one member of the public joining us today. So for your benefit, I am going to go through our report, and then you are free to ask any questions that you may have. There will also be an agenda placed in the chat for you. Okay, so with that said, I'll get started in terms of updates. For compliance on April 25th, our attorney Karen Foreman met with the Philadelphia Law Department regarding ADA compliance and disability discrimination in homeless shelters and the city's homeless shelters. And they met with the purpose of identifying any trends or past complaints and determining how the city can best respond to those complaints. On May 7th, Deputy Director Pamela Gwaltney presented on a consumer protection discrimination fair and housing panel, which was hosted by the Pennsylvania Bar Institute. On May 9th, our attorney Karen Foreman presented on a panel hosted by the Philadelphia Bar Association's Committee on Legal Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And the topic of the presentation was navigating a tenant's claim in housing discrimination when requests for reasonable accommodation are ignored or denied. and we are told that it was very well received. So congratulations to Karen for that. In terms of community engagement and prevention and education, over the last 4 weeks, youth from the Youth Conflict Specialist Program at Temple University participated in our first inaugural Youth Ambassador Program, where they learned to understand their civil rights and the city's protections against discrimination. They also learned how the skills that they developed as conflict specialists can be used to address community tensions and neighborhood conflicts. The youth were trained in bias awareness and how to stand up against hate. They met with members of our interagency civil rights task force to hear about the importance of partnerships in peace and creating peace, rather. They also had the opportunity to listen and ask questions of leaders in law enforcement, public safety, and youth engagement at the Put Them Joins Down Gun Violence Summit that we co-sponsored. Finally, through a partnership with Philly CAM, the youth ambassadors gained media literacy, taking their understanding of our work and mission to create media messages that will resonate with their peers in their community. They will be graduating from our program next Wednesday, May 22nd, at City Hall. I believe it will occur in the Conversation Hall in the Mayor's Conversation Hall at 3 p.m. On April 30th, we co-sponsored a gun violence education summit along with the Quaker City Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. The event was held at Venice Island Recreation and Performing Arts Center, and it jump-started a week-long campaign to bring awareness and resources aimed at reducing gun violence, enhancing conflict resolution, and supporting victims. This was a very successful event. The summit featured a panel of the police commissioner, Kevin Bethel, the Philadelphia Sheriff, Rochelle Bilal, Chief Community Engagement for the District Attorney's Office. The District Attorney himself appeared as well as the city's Director of Black Male Engagement, Abu Edwards. I also provided remarks at the summit, and that was a very well received event. On May 5th, HR Representative David Oliver provided resource tabling on PCHR's conflict resolution services at a community resource fair, again, part of that week-long gun violence campaign. The primary goal of the resource fair was to provide tangible resources to victims of gun violence and connect the community to anti-violence resources. I also provided remarks at that event. Next, I will move on to conflict responses. HR Representative Boone Ratmat is working with the 3rd Police District Community Relations Officer to address conflict in the Lao community in South Philadelphia. Deputy Director Randy Duque was also on site at the University of Pennsylvania, actively monitoring the protest encampment and offering assistance to Penn's public safety office, as well as connecting them to various resources within the city and city officials. HR Representative HR Representative Carlos Avalos has been monitoring the Kensington cleanup plan and was present during the first phase of the clearing phase to assess its effects on the community and offer additional resources and supports as necessary. Other noteworthy events for this reporting period: one of our HR representatives, Tiara Thompson, has been selected to join the steering committee for the International Association of Official Human Rights Agencies for their annual civil rights training, which will occur in St. Louis, Missouri. So very proud of her for her leadership on that. Other upcoming events during the next cycle, on May 29th, I will be providing a training for City Council member Cindy Bass and her constituent services team regarding PCHR's scope of services and the protections offered by our office. And finally, on June 3rd, Deputy Director Randy Duque will be attending the Association for Conflict Resolution Greater New York chapter's annual conference, where he will present on partnerships for peace or the effectiveness of collaboration to address hate and bias through interagency civil rights task force partnerships. And thank you to Randy for always leading that partnership and our task force. All right, so for hate and bias incidents, we had 9 confirmed incidents reported to us this month. Most of the incidents centered on race, national origin, or ethnicity. There were several threats, and and other incidents, and I'll go through them briefly. There was a race-based threat where a 311 dispatcher received a call from an unknown person claiming that they were going to kill. Oh, wow. Okay, we can eject them. Okay, we can eject them. Thank you. All right. That was the first time in a while that we got spam. Me off guard.
Well, thank you, Monica, for being on top of controlling the meeting room.
I'm sorry, I
That's
was trying to
nice.
chase it around the screen. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Monica is really good about that. That happens sometimes with fair housing. There was also a church in Kensington that received an anti-Black voicemail claiming that they would kill every N-word in the congregation. This investigation is still ongoing. There was a person who was in police custody while in the hospital and spit on a police officer, stating that he hated white people, and additional charges were issued for that assault. There was also an anti-white statement that was reported wherein an employee in a treatment center accused a white client of white privilege and said that he was going to file a complaint against that employee for the employee's behavior. So that was an incident. There have also been several serious anti-Semitic threats that were reported to us this month. First, the Regional Fusion Center, an intelligence center, received a bomb threat against a local synagogue. Police conducted checks for all Jewish facilities in the city as a result of that threat. There was another Jewish facility in Germantown that received a mass email bomb threat, and the investigation for that is still ongoing. There was another synagogue in North Philadelphia that received an email bomb threat, and the police are continuing to investigate that. So far, there have been negative results. Then we also had finally 2 anti-Semitic incidents that were reported to us, bias incidents that were reported to us, where a Jewish official, his center city office was defaced with graffiti, which read "Free Palestine." And this last incident that was reported to us was a Israeli sign in the University City area that was defaced with graffiti reading "Nazi and genocide enabler." Some of these incidents are bias incidents that were reported to us, and some of them are more serious hate incidents. But for all of the incidents, We have reached out to our resources, our city resources, our state and local community partners to ensure that the victims are connected to whatever supports that they need and that we're monitoring these incidents. So with that, I will offer it up to any questions that anyone may have. Okay, hearing no questions, I will turn it back over to our chair, Commissioner Shalimar Thomas.
Thank you, and thank you for your report. Our next meeting will take place in June. The executive session will take place on June 14th, 2024, and the public session will be held on June 21st, 2024. Readers for the month of June are Commissioners Kareem Thomas, Alpert, and Tibbs. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Commissioner Alpert and Commissioner Ho. All in favor? All right, the meeting has been adjourned, and have a great weekend.
All right, have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.